By the early 1200s, Europe felt reasonably confident about itself. Kingdoms squabbled over borders, crusaders marched off to the Holy Land, and everyone assumed the real threats came from familiar neighbors. Then reports started filtering in from the east about a force unlike anything Europe had faced, and confidence quickly curdled into outright panic. The Mongols weren't just another army, they were a phenomenon. Under Genghis Khan and later his successors, the Mongol Empire expanded at a pace that seemed almost physically impossible. By the 1220s, they'd already crushed the Khwarezmian Empire in Central Asia and pushed into Russia. European rulers heard the rumors, mostly assumed they were exaggerated, and kept squabbling among themselves. That confidence didn't last. In 1241, under the command of Batu Khan and the brilliant general Subutai, the Mongols invaded Europe on two fronts simultaneously, an act of military coordination that modern generals still study with a mixture of admiration and disbelief. At the Battle of Legnica in Poland, a combined force of Polish, German, and Allied knights was annihilated. Just 2 days later, hundreds of miles away, at the Battle of Mohi in Hungary, another Mongol force crushed King Bela IV's army. Coordinating two decisive victories across such distance, using medieval communication methods, remains one of the most impressive logistical feats in military history. Europe simply had no answer for it. Part of the terror came from Mongol tactics themselves. Their horse archers could fire accurately while riding at full gallop. Their armies moved with astonishing speed across vast distances, and they employed deliberate psychological warfare, spreading terrifying rumors ahead of their advance to weaken enemy resolve before battle even began. Reports described entire cities razed, populations slaughtered for resisting, and survivors sent fleeing westward with horror stories that only grew more exaggerated with each retelling. By the time these stories reached royal courts in France or England, the Mongols had practically become supernatural boogeymen. And then, just as suddenly as they'd arrived, they left. In 1242, following the death of the great Khan Ogedei back in Mongolia, Batu Khan withdrew his forces to participate in the succession process, a political tradition that likely spared Western Europe from further invasion. Historians still debate how differently European history might have unfolded had the Mongols pressed further west. Paris, London, and Rome may well have faced the same devastation as Kiev and Budapest. The psychological scars lingered for generations regardless. European chroniclers described the Mongols with a mixture of fascination and horror, some even speculating they were a biblical punishment sent from God. In truth, they were simply the most sophisticated military machine of their era, one that most of Europe was lucky enough to only glimpse from a terrified distance rather than fully experience. Sometimes the most frightening empires aren't remembered for how long they stayed, but for how effectively they proved they could destroy everything and then chose to leave anyway.